4th and goal to go to the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
And then finally, right, Dart had a good day. Had a good day, right? Right? But, you know, unfortunately for the Giants, kind of like they did things a little bit different. I mean, it's like you got Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan. Be a nice third-string quarterback. Nice, okay? I'm not saying that the guy ain't taking it, you know. He's got this thing kind of going on, and everybody's freaking it, you know, and all that and everything. But a nice third-string quarterback, right? Because I mean, he won 3 of his first 4 starts, I think, for us a couple years ago, and that's not too bad. That's not, for a crappy team. That's not too bad, right? But I mean, you got Russell Wilson, and the thing was they signed Jameis and Winston first. Then they got rid of Russell Wilson, and then they got Jaxson Dart. I mean, you know, it's like we got a lot of guys. You know, we got a lot of you know, and obviously the thing too is you know, you want to get Dart in there too if the opportunity presents itself. You know, that's going to be interesting to see. Like if whatever. I don't know. I hope this don't happen. Say we start 1-6. I hope not. I'll probably want to kill myself. But, you know, who's going to go in? You know, we put Winston in there, or we're going to see Dart in there, right? So it's like almost like you go from Wilson and you almost bypass Winston to get to Dart. You know, and then the thing is you're not keeping 4 quarterbacks. Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan's probably going to go on the practice squad, and somebody might scoff him up because he showed that he, on a crappy team with no weapons, really, kind of, not a very good offensive line, okay, he can win football games. You know, so he may not last long if he gets put on the practice squad. And I'd be shocked if they keep 4 quarterbacks. I mean, totally shocked. That. So I said, so if one of them goes on the practice squad, there's a good chance another team might pick him up. But I mean, it's a shame the way they wound up doing it. They took Wilson. They got Wilson first, right? And we had Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, and then we drafted Dart. That might be the ideal situation because Wilson's only here for 1 year. You know, you kind of hope maybe by the second season Dart would be ready. If not, we put him in the first year, right? But be interesting to see, you know, as the season goes along, if there's some quarterback needy teams out there, right? I mean, you know, the Giants or whatever. Once again, 3-7. You know, do we need Winston? No, we're going to be putting Dart in there. Right? So what's Winston going to do? Right? So he's quite possibly a trade candidate. But Dart had himself a good day, but it's only one day. Right? Long way to go. But I mean, let's not forget, maybe he had a good day, but also like the first day of training camp, right? He jumped back. Now, you don't know if the receiver ran the wrong route, whatever it was, but he threw a pick 6. So, but Dart also says, you know, you're going to make mistakes, right? But do you learn from your mistakes, right? But Jaxson Dart puts together his best training camp outing. Training camp just got underway this week. Jaxson Dart is one member of the Giants many are heavily focused on. Though things didn't get off to the greatest start for him, the rookie seems to be making strides on the field. On draft night, the Giants traded back in the first round to get him. He won't be taking the reins right away, as New York also brought in Russell Wilson and Jameis and Winston. That said, the organization is still vested in how its potential quarterback of the future looks to kick off his pro career. Dart, who climbed ahead of Winston on the Giants' depth chart during minicamp, we'll have to wait and see about that, has been splitting time with the first and second teams in camp. Whether it was nerves or other factors, Dart's growing pains were on display. That said, he seems to be adjusting quickly. On Sunday, Dart put together what has to be by far his best showing in camp thus far. He nearly had a perfect day throwing the ball, completing 11 of 13 pass attempts. Not too shabby. Along with being efficient and accurate, Dart also showed off how effective he can be as a deep ball threat. After impressing many people in and around the Giants during minicamp, many wondered if quarterback competition could emerge during camp. However, that is not the case. While he wants all the QBs working hard, head coach Brian Daboll stated earlier this week that Wilson is opening the season as a starter. Given the front office's move in the offseason, it's clear that they have a plan for Dart. Though many teams have strayed away from this old school thought, New York is maintaining an old school approach. Dart will begin his NFL career learning the game from behind the scenes before the coaching staff hands him the keys. As two quarterbacks who have had their fair share of highs and lows, Wilson and Winston can serve as good mentors for Dart. Absolutely. With a strong day of camp under his belt, the key for Dart will be building off this momentum. Finishing things around strong will get him one step closer to eventually finding himself as the Giants' starting quarterback. But, if we got Wilson's the number one guy, right? As I said, it'd be a shame to let Tommy Chicken Cutlet go. He'd be a good third string quarterback for us. Then we got Dart. So, New York Giants quarterback listed as potential top NFL trade candidate. Now, there's going to, somewhere along the line, there's going to be teams out there, quarterback needy teams. And the number, was it 2015, 26, whatever draft he was, the number one pick. Now, he can throw you in a game, he can throw you out of a game, right? Sometimes he trusts his arm a little too much, but I know one year, I can't remember what it was. I think he had 33 touchdowns one year, but 30 interceptions, but he also threw for over 5,000 yards too. You don't throw for over 5,000 yards by accident. You don't throw for 33 touchdowns by accident. Right? So there's some talent there. Somewhere along the line, there's going to be a quarterback-needy team going to come knocking. And the Giants are like 3-7. It's like, do you really need Russell Wilson and Jameis and Winston on you when you got Jaxson Dart in the back? So. With NFL training camps underway, key storylines across the league have recently contributed to a list of 15 NFL trade candidates this summer. Pro Football Focus recently added New York Giants quarterback Jameis and Winston to the conversation. Giants are likely to start Russell Wilson, leaving Winston as the 10th. Now I got it here. They say Dart possibly might be the second stringer, which will leave Winston as the team's presumptive quarterback number 3. New York could keep the former first overall pick in that role, but Winston figures to be most teams' top trade target when a quarterback injury inevitably happens, and it's going to happen. New York's front office added Winston this offseason after wrapping up the Daniel Jones era halfway through the 2024 NFL season. Rumors suggested that Winston had support as the potential starter for the 2025 NFL season. Giants flipped their script when they signed Russell Wilson to a short-term deal as well. Both veterans have plenty of experience as starters in the league. Wilson spent a large chunk of his career with the Seahawks, while Winston was the top pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after starring at Florida State. At this point, Winston and Wilson are running out of chances to gain a long-term starting job in the league. Fortunately for the Giants, Winston has seemingly embraced a backup role in New York this year. However, he proved last year that he could still be productive when called on, starting in 7 games for the Browns. Not every starting seat in the league is guaranteed for the entire year, which is true. With unproven passers and injuries potentially causing shakeups, Winston can certainly be a top target in mind for teams who would be on the hunt for a player with a lot of experience. He's got, there's not much he can't do. Unfortunately, that also includes throwing interceptions. But you need somebody who can, move the chains, move the ball, complete some passes to his team and the other team, score some touchdown. Yeah. Being in the NFL since 2015, Winston has appeared in over 100 games. He has 87 starts under his belt and has thrown for over 24,000 yards and 154 touchdowns. Giants are committed to Wilson as a starter at the beginning of the camp. Right now, Jaxson Dart is competing with Winston for the backup role, but it seems the veteran has the edge as of now. If Wilson were to struggle or go down while the Giants are still playing well, Winston would be the logical backup. New York struggles as a team, and it's clear the season could be lost. Dart would likely leapfrog Winston on a depth chart, as getting the rookie first-rounder early experience could be a great opportunity for the Giants' future franchise quarterback. Yeah, so that's going to be one of those interesting things to certainly to keep an eye on. Who quarterback number 2 is. Is Winston number 2? Is Dart number 2? Winston number 3? How did the Giants got a tough schedule, right? I mean, as I said, after 10 games, are we 3-7? Even if we're 4-6, hey, you got 7 games left. I mean, if you win the final 7, you wind up being 11-6. Now you're in the playoffs, but realistically, are we going to win the last 7 games? Or are we going to go 3-4 or what? That's going to be one of those really interesting things that I keep saying. Because in 2004, when we had Kurt Warner, we were 5-4. 5-4, and we were in playoff position. That didn't mean we were going to make the playoffs, but we were 5-4, and they pulled the plug on the season. But they didn't know at the time, but a future Hall of Fame quarterback, Kurt Warner, on the sideline, put Eli Manning in there, and just this season was over with, guys. The season we're putting a rookie in there. So Eli went on to lose the first 6 games. So we went from 5-4 to 5-10 before he won his final game of the season. So it's going to be something very, very interesting to keep an eye on. If the things get really bad, or if 4-6, 4-7, 3-7, 3-6, or something like that. Is there a point in time when the Giants are like, it's time to get Dart in there, because this season's over with. But if you can get Dart in there for 4, 5, 6 games, those reps that he's going to get are being invaluable. So.